What does it really take to be a digital nomad? What are the tools that you need to have into place? And can you really work from anywhere in the world, including Africa? Welcome back to Talking Travel. My name is Linda Eno, and in this channel, I am currently documenting my family process as we are moving abroad, specifically to either Côte d'Ivoire or Cameroon in Africa. So if this is of interest to you, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss any of our videos as we are sharing our progress. So we've all seen it. We've all heard about digital nomads, you know, the people who go to, let's say, Bali or anywhere in Southeast Asia, and they just work from anywhere, basically. They just are living their best lives on the beach, working from their laptops. And you kind of wonder, is this something that you can actually do? Like from anywhere, like even in Africa, and with a family? So the short answer is yes, because being a digital nomad doesn't have to fit into a certain mold. It can look differently for you. In essence, being a digital nomad means to have an online business that you can run from anywhere, and you can decide to travel regularly, or you can also stay put for a few months or even a few years at a certain spot without having to bop around all over the place. So it really can look differently for you, for me, or anywhere else on the internet. It really has to suit your lifestyle, your taste. But at the end of the day, there are certain things that you need to have into place. And in today's video, we are going to look at those tools that you need to have into place and see if those can be applied in the continent and specifically in Côte d'Ivoire. So if you don't know by now, my family and I are looking at two countries where we would like to move to, either Côte d'Ivoire or Cameroon. If you want to know more about why we're picking these two countries, I'm going to link this video up here, as well as two more videos in the description that tells you a little bit more about each country and why we're deciding on those two. So a few months ago, I spent 10 days in Côte d'Ivoire, and the main purpose of that trip was to scout the country, to scout mostly Abidjan, and to see if I could see myself and my family live there, move there for, let's say, 2, 3, or even 5, 10 years, okay? So that was the main purpose of that trip. So there are two questions that we need to address. One, is it possible to be a digital nomad in Côte d'Ivoire? And number two, how to make it happen. So obviously the answer to the first question is yes. You can work your online business from there, but you need to have the necessary tools. Hence the second question that now we need to answer, which is how do you make it possible? So let's get into the how of being a digital nomad in Africa and specifically in Côte d'Ivoire. So like I said earlier, being a digital nomad implies that you are making a living online. That means that you have an online business that doesn't require you to be set in a specific destination. So whether you're in the US, in Canada, in England, in Côte d'Ivoire, South Africa, Argentina, wherever you are, you need to be able to run that business because you have certain tools into place. Based on my experience, these are the 4 tools you need to be a digital nomad in Côte d'Ivoire. Number 1, you need the basics, which is internet. You need fast and reliable internet. Here's the thing. Côte d'Ivoire, and specifically Abidjan, where I spend most of my time, most of my 10 days, they really have fast, reliable internet. Again, it depends on where you go. If you go to a restaurant, maybe it's not going to be as fast as home-based internet. It really depends on the area of the city where you are. But I tested the internet in 3, maybe 4 different areas. The first one was at my friend's house. That's where I spend most of my time. The internet was fast. It was 24/7 internet. Anytime I needed it, I could get on it, and it was as fast as the internet that I have here in the US. So I was able to access my accounts, all these things, because it was really fast. So it didn't bug, it didn't give me any kind of issues. So from home, I tested it and it was fast and reliable. Another place where I tested it was also at a co-working space. So I went to a co-working space for that purpose. I wanted to see how it would be like for me to be there and having to work there in case I can't work from home for some reason or another. So I went to a co-working space and I wanted to see the environment, how it was like, and most importantly, I wanted to test the internet speed. Yes, same thing. It was fast and reliable. They didn't have any blackouts. It was fast, it was reliable for the 2 hours that I spent there. And on top of that, it wasn't really expensive. I think I spent about $8 to spend the whole day there at the co-working space. I also had a drink on top of that. So at the most, I spent $10 for the whole day at that co-working space. I also know that they have monthly packages, so if I were to book for, let's say, the whole month or for a whole week, my daily price would be considerably lower. The third place where I tested the internet was at the hotel. Now here's a caveat for this one. Because we stayed at Assini and we stayed on the, not on the lagoon side of the hotel, but on the beach side of the hotel. And they clearly said that there was no TV and no internet on that side. And we were perfectly okay with that because we knew that we were going there just to relax and to, to detach from any technology and all of that. But surprisingly, there was still some signal, so I could still send some text messages to my family and watch some videos and all of that. So even though we weren't supposed to have internet there, we were still able to get some from the mainland part of the hotel. So it wasn't that reliable because, again, it was just a very weak signal that we were not even supposed to get in the first place. But on the main side of the hotel, I didn't really have time to test the internet, to be honest, because I was more occupied by, enjoying the food, enjoying the sights, enjoying the pool, all of these nice things. So I didn't really feel the need to be online or to do anything like that. I took a lot of pictures, but I didn't really use the internet that much. So when it comes to the internet, yes, in Côte d'Ivoire, it's very reliable, specifically in Abidjan, because that's where I was, in Assini as well. It was reliable, it was fast, and it was easy enough to access all the things that I needed to see. That takes me to point number 2. The second tool or the second thing that you need in order to be a digital nomad in Côte d'Ivoire is access to your platforms. As of the filming of this video, in Côte d'Ivoire, there are no bans on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, or any of those platforms. Even my email provider, it wasn't blocked or anything like that. So now the thing is that depending on the regions you are, certain features might not be available. I'm specifically thinking of Instagram and Reels. Reels are not accessible in all the countries around the world. In Côte d'Ivoire specifically, they've just been recently available, and sometimes certain songs are not available. So that's something that you have to be aware of. Most of the time, it works really well with no issues at all. But sometimes with certain songs, there might be a few difficulties, but that's just a minor issue. So again, I was able to access my Facebook group, I was able to access my email, I was able to access my Instagram, all the things that I need to access and connect with and communicate with people. I was able to have access to all of these platforms. So that's check number 2. The third thing that you need to have in place and be able to do in order to be a digital nomad in Côte d'Ivoire is access to payment. So here's the thing, you have to know how you are choosing to get paid and where your payments are coming from. These will depend on the country where you're staying. When it comes to Côte d'Ivoire, most of the payments that are done on mobile phone. This is something that is not very popular here in the US. I don't even know if we do that because we pay everything by card. We pay online with a card and all that. But in Côte d'Ivoire, most of the payments that are not done in person with cash, they are done by phone. So this is basically your phone being connected to your bank account and then you being able to make that payment. I didn't have access to that, okay, because I don't have a local bank. So I had to either pay online or have my friend pay for me, and then I had to give her cash. That was just in one instance because it was for a service that I purchased online. But this is just a minor issue because I wasn't there permanently. I wasn't living there. I was there visiting, so that's why I didn't have that set up. Once you move there, once you live there, of course, you're gonna have all that banking system set up. But here's my advice for you. Wherever you decide to go, make sure you set up all your payment methods before you leave the US. That means having your Stripe account set up, having your PayPal account set up. Whatever way you are receiving money, make sure you set that up before you move. Because in the instance that I didn't have my PayPal set up here in the US, then I wouldn't be able to receive payments through PayPal if I lived in Côte d'Ivoire because it's not something that is available as of now. So that's why my business was still able to run without any interruptions because all of my payment setups were already done from the US. I didn't have to depend on the availability of PayPal in Côte d'Ivoire because my payments were coming from outside of Côte d'Ivoire. Does that make sense? I hope so. The fourth and last thing to have into place in order to be a digital nomad in Cote d'Ivoire is systems and automation. Granted, this is something that you need to have into place. Whether you leave the country or not, you absolutely need systems and automation. You absolutely need that because you don't want to be glued to your business every single day, 24 hours. There are things that need to be running without you being present in your business. That's the perks of having an online business. You can have these things running for you in the background while you are on the beach, while you are playing with your kids, while you are taking a nap or shopping, whatever you want to do. That way you can still serve your audience and receive payments for that service. Again, this is something that I highly recommend you set up before you leave the US. That way it's up and running and working efficiently. That way, whenever you have blackouts, whenever you have interruptions because kids get sick, or maybe you get sick, or maybe you just want to chill for a little bit, well, your business can still run automatically without you having to be there. That is, again, the essence of an online business. With all this online talk, if you want to know more about how to build your own online business, I'm putting together a course for that. The doors are not open yet, but if you want more information, make sure you check the link in the description where it says waiting list. That's where you can enter your information. That way you can be the first one to know once the course opens. This course is going to teach you how to set up your own online business that you can run from anywhere in the world. That way you don't have to be so dependent on your job when you move abroad because you have your own online business. So again, to recap this video, can you be a digital nomad in Cote d'Ivoire? The answer is yes, a big yes, you can. But how do you actually do that? Well, easy. 4 things. 1, you need to be able to have access to the internet. 2, you need to be able to have access to your platforms. 3, you need to be able to receive payments. And 4, you need to be able to automate and have systems into place to run your business, even if you're not available or able to do that. I was able to have all 4 things checked out when I was in Abidjan last year. So this is something that you absolutely can do as well. If you have any more questions about this topic, make sure you post them in the comments. In the meantime, like this video, share it with a friend, and of course, subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss any other videos like this. Until next time, bye.